After the trade unions were banned, the DAF was set up to take control of the union's assets. Workers were now together as one national body. The German Labour Front was headed by Dr. Robert Ley, one of the few pronounceable names you'll be able to remember. He was a farmer's son, a pilot and a chemist for IG Farben until he was fired for being drunk on the job, and after discovering the Nazis, he was devoted to Hitler, seeing him as a messiah. He joined the Nazis in 1924, and after proving himself as a fellow anti-Semitic to his mates with a few rounds of rabble-rousing and Jew baiting, he soon became Gauleiter of Cologne in 1928. He was elected in the Reichstag, and then replaced Gregor Strasser as Reich organization leader, using the position's power to organize the Nuremberg party rallies. Like with his occupation as a chemist, Ley really liked alcohol, which I'm pretty sure some of you can relate to. Nevertheless, he was known as the Reich drunkard, one who went on drunken triads that often castrated the bourgeoisie. Despite the abuse of the bottle, Ley did yearn for his own ideals, which became reflected in the German Labour Front, especially a new Volksgemeinschaft.
DAF was already providing facilities for workers hoping to bring social peace under the Nazi name, and to also increase production. So it is not surprising that a few policies were introduced in an attempt to achieve autarky and win over the working class. KDF, or Strength Through Joy, was created in November 1933. DAF's intention was to improve the leisure for workers. Holidays, hikes, sport, theatre or cinema were all choices of leisure that 10 million took in 1938. Ley said himself that this was the quickest means of bringing National Socialism to the workers. There was a subdivision of the KDF called, no, I am not pronouncing that, or Beauty of Work. This subdivision improved the working conditions, similarly to the 12 trustees of Labour. This is where we get to more specific examples of the German Labour Front affecting the workers. The Volkswagen.
The People's Car Scheme was organised in 1938, which provided workers with the opportunity to basically subscribe to a car. 5 Reichsmarks a week would eventually amass to the price of a Volkswagen, a beauty that you could even earn in poverty. The DAF hoped to reduce the danger of inflation by boosting savings and cutting domestic expenditure. But, like the Second World War, nobody got what they expected. Not a single applicant received their Volkswagen, and rearmament became the priority of production in 1939.
Other trade unions allowed workers to bargain for their wages. The Councils of Order, Ordensbürgen, did not. The government used this to hold power over businesses, threatening to give DAF influence over the wages workers received. Due to the focus of the DAF's being social and economic policy, this was a rather ineffective scheme. The German Labour Front had removed many of the freedoms through its policymaking, and had become an example of Nazi Gleichschaltung, replacing the previously Weimar trade unions with an agency that, while advocating and providing benefits for workers, still were trapping them in the limited freedoms of a Nazi organisation. The benefits that the DAF provided were not as significant as the shortcomings. Workers could no longer represent themselves, as the Nazis wanted a community idea in the workplace. While you could ask one of the trustees of Labour to settle a wage dispute, it was unlikely that a worker would be able to pass authority over their wages and themselves against their factory. In conclusion, free Hong Kong. The workers were heavily affected by the suppression and replacement of the trade unions with the DAF. While this was a mostly negative change that affected their rights as a worker in Germany, they received some representation and had the potential to circumvent the policies by contacting the trustees of Labour, however unlikely. If you want to see more of this wondrous editing, check out channels. Here, yes, I have 2 of them, and thanks to Ollie for working with me and almost finishing a song, but not really. Well, he didn't, but thank you! Yeah, you can stop this now, Barnes. Mr. Barnes, you can turn off. Sir, you can turn off the video now.
Hey, Vsauce! Massive legend here. But where is here, and whose mass is it?